I'm with top football coach Maurice Tillotson. And Maurice, you've just made a visit to Europe and parts of South America, and you've put together this following tape. What's it all about?
Well, basically, Andrew, it's an educational, football educational tape, and very useful for coaches and players alike. And I think that schools and clubs should be get a copy each so that they can pass things on to their coaches.
So it's all real. These are all live training sessions. None of this is staged. It's all from actual training sessions from top clubs.
Yes, what I've tried to do is take the mystique out of how you develop top players. I've been on the sideline and filmed what's been going on, and this is the result of it.
So what's the best advice on how to watch the tape? Because it is a fairly long tape. It's a couple of hours.
Yes, it is a long tape, and I think that interested people, coaches and players should watch the tape maybe once through, and then pick out pieces that they're interested in when they're doing their sessions.
Well, let's get into the tape and have a look. We hope you learned something about the great game. So we start, Maurice, with one of the traditional power bases of the game. Your first visit was to Holland?
Yes, Andrew, this is at a small club. It's a first division club in Holland, a professional club. And here we've got some young children, 13 years, and they're going through a passing drill, a simple passing drill.
Well, that's the key, isn't it? It is very, very simple. They're not complicating matters at all for the kids.
No, I mean, on this little drill here, they're just receiving in the inside of the foot, playing off and moving. And it's a drill that coaches can copy. It's just the emphasis is on ball speed. And here they've actually turned the drill round so that they're using 2 feet, so that they're now using their left foot. Before they were using every time the right foot. Now he's receiving on the left foot. He's played it off on the right. But once again, it's just making the asymmetry for the footwork. Yeah, now the drill's changed a little bit. This time we've got the give and go. He plays the ball in and moves round the marker and then looks to play off again. And once again, it's the sort of practice that all our coaches can use with the young players. He's just coming in, receiving, and then moving around the cone and playing off. It's what we call a give and go practice. And I think as it carries on, you'll see them change so that they're working. Here it comes. This time they're working their other foot. So that they're getting plenty of work on left foot and right foot play, and the emphasis on ball speed.
And again, very simple and one-touch football.
Yes, and I watched these boys going on this drill for about 25 minutes, and so the motivation is high. You know that they're prepared to do a lot of work and just keep that ball moving, and they're getting lots of touches of the ball. You know, something that it's better than running players just round the field. These boys are getting lots of touches of the ball, a lot of ball speed, and a lot of movement. Here the drill now, it's changed now so that we've got what we call the third man running. He's playing it in, moving off, and you're involving 3 players in this little section here. And as I said before, it's something that our coaches can watch and they can put on for their own players.
So this now is the first team at the same club, and the drills are very similar. They don't change, do they?
This is a similar drill. It's these guys are full-time professionals at the same club, and they're doing a similar type of a passing drill, but the emphasis on this one is one touch only. As you see, they're just looking to play it off in one touch and move off very quickly. And I think later on you'll hear the coach asking for a lot of ball speed, so he's trying to get them to move that ball very quickly. One of the advantages of playing one-touch football, of course, in the full game is that it's very difficult to pressurise players when they're laying off the ball in one touch. And this team in particular, when I saw them play, throughout the week that I was with them, very rarely did they use more than 1 or 2 touch football. And certainly in the games, they were top of the first division when I left, and when I watched them play, it was very much a very good passing team.
So the keys for any coach so far in this exercise: simplicity, technique, and ball speed.
Yes, absolutely, and you can see that the players are using both the left foot and the right foot. The weight of the ball, he's asking them to move it in and move it in quickly, and obviously they've got to weight the ball as well, so that the other player can lay it off.
Just play diagonal.
Different club. Where are we now, Morris?
Well, now we're in Treviso in Italy, and these are young players that they train every day. They go to school in the morning, and they train from 3 till about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And this is another passing drill. It's quite low key. This is one that our coaches can use as a warm up. They're just playing the ball to each other in the grid and just moving off.
Comes in.
Now we've extended it a little bit more, this time that they were playing across the grid, one player receiving it, just plays it across, and then the other one lays it off, gets it back from his partner and just clips it into the other side. So it's a lovely warm day, it's the players are nice and relaxed, and it's just a little warm-up that they're doing for their touch and their passing.
Receiving and playing in. I've done it with one, but look how they're just moving across.
This time we've got a little variation on it, because the players now are looking to open up and just turn on the ball. So the ball's played in, and I think we're going to show the coach demonstrate just what he wants here.
Now this is important, that the coach is able to physically demonstrate to the players and illustrate exactly what he wants them to do.
Yes, I think it is. If you're a coach and you've had a playing career and you can still play, by all means you go and show the players what you want. If you're not, I mean, a lot of our junior coaches haven't played the game at a reasonable level, so it's always good to maybe find out show one of the players and let him demonstrate what to do.
That's an important technique, isn't it, for a coach to utilise one of the better players in a squad as the guinea pig, if you like.
Exactly. And now we've got a situation now where the players are just once again playing across a grid. Each player is touching the ball before it's played across. And look at the way they're just moving on the toes. It's a nice loose. The tempo, to be frank, isn't high enough for me, but I'd want them to be playing a little bit quicker. But as I say, this is maybe the Latin way of playing, the little flicks on the foot and the dancing feet, and just stroking the ball around.
Again, though, this could be a warm-up exercise. You don't have to do 5 laps of the park as a warm-up.
Exactly, and each player's getting his touch on the ball. They're just moving along, and so a lot of the emphasis is on just this touches on the ball.
Play it off, and then clip it in.
We've now got the same situation. Or instead of passing the ball on the ground, now they're just clipping the ball over to the other side.
Somebody else clips it in, so each three is getting a shot. There, in it goes. Control, plays back. Clips it in.
Different venue again, and is that AstroTurf?
Yes, we're now at Werder Bremen in Germany, and these are some young players there. Just once again, just going through a few passing drills. The first one, they were just knocking the ball backward and forward. This time, there's a little bit more. The player's playing in, and then he's a quick turn, going back and playing the ball back to his partner. So these are good little passing drills we can use, just give variations instead of just knocking it backward and forward. Now he's just playing it in, turning and going back.
Winton Rufer's old haunt, of course. They still talk about our best player?
Oh yes, they still call him, when I was there, it was Kiwi Rufer whenever I said I was from New Zealand. And here we've got a passing drill, but also where you can involve your goalkeepers. There, the players are just moving around loosely with the ball, and there's 2 keepers in the middle of the circle, and they're just knocking the ball to them on the ground. The keeper just serves the ball back, and often keepers are neglected, and this is a very good way of involving them in the warm-up. And the players also, this time they're changing it so they play the ball into him, and then and this time they header back. So it's a case of watching some of these little drills and using them in your own sessions.
Rolls it back to him on the ground, clips it up to him, rolls it back, Gives him it on the ground.
So again, the simplicity, variety, and the skills being emphasised all the time.
Well, I think so. That it's very important. We talk about teams and tactics, but we're only as good as the individuality of each player. And most of the drills that we'll see on this video are very much on the technique, the player's technique. Here we've got now the goalkeeper's just serving it to a player, and he's just controlling it, and just a little change of pace. So as you gradually get warmed up, you can increase the intensity.
Plays it in. Plays it across to there. Plays it in.
Now here we've got a drill. This is with the first team players, and once again a problem with drills can be that here we've got a situation where they're probably not just sure what's meant to be happening, but this fella knows. He's telling everybody what he wants them to do, and away they go again. I'll leave this to our student coaches to work out what the sequence of passing is. But there's 2 balls in the grid. There are 6 players in there, and they're just moving the ball around. I think as the drill becomes more familiar to players, then as a coach you would tend to increase its intensity. Here's a view of the same drill. We can watch the players going through it and work out which runs they're looking to make.
Come to a stop.
Now these are some fairly high-paid professional players, and yet again we emphasise they're going through drills that are very similar to those that the kids were going through. So you don't need to overcomplicate things.
Exactly. I think you can get too bogged down as a coach in looking for complicated systems and ways of training players, and these players are just doing simple drills to begin with. And later on, when you get to the meat of the session, you'll see different things. But obviously, they're training every day. They've just got to keep working on the ball still, and it never stops. You throughout their career.
Is it fucking worth it, man? I'm getting $1 million a fucking game, so why not? Every time I come on, I get that.
Where are we now, Maurice? Is this in England?
Well, now we're at Leeds United with some of their under-90, their youth players, and once again, just looking a simple passing drill. They're just playing off one foot, receiving on one foot, laying it off on the other. This time he's got 2 players in the middle there, so they're as the ball's played in, they're actually feeling where the other guy is from time to time, so that you're aware that there's somebody else there. And looking just to receive it in one touch, played off with the other touch, sometime with the outside of the foot. Now we've gone into a drill where there are 4 players in the grid, and we're playing in a long pass, just looking to lay it off. There he's made a mistake, he's retrieved it, he plays a short pass, and then the long one goes in. As you can see, the whole squad's working. So if you've got 16 players, well, you've got 4 grids there, and you've got the whole squad working, and it's just a simple variation of short and long passing. The long one goes in, he lays it off, so he's working on his touch as well. Now we've gone into another drill, once again using the whole squad, and this time we've got 2 players in the middle of the grid working as strikers. Let's just watch what happens here. The ball's played across, then it's knocked up to the front striker, who lays it in for the second striker, who plays it wide, and then the ball's switched across to the other side. And of course players are coming from the other side as well. A very good drill and pretty easy to copy for our coaches. There the ball's played wide again, and then it's switched across to the other side. And the other players are coming from the other way as well.
So as well as technique here, perhaps emphasising something that New Zealand players are generally not good at, and that is movement off the ball.
Exactly, yes. These players are being encouraged to switch their runs, and obviously the technique of passing. And I think here comes the coach. He's going to demonstrate. He's obviously seen something wrong. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Yes, John. Well, Dominic, to start with, you were turning away from the ball. Right, you're a striker. You're taking him in there to get that space. Yes, John.
And I think you said to me earlier, Andrew, how important for a coach that can demonstrate. Well, there was a superb demonstration of what he wanted. And obviously the kids respect that. Now, here we've got another passing drill going. This time it's a big square. And the players now, if you play the ball straight, square, then you make a diagonal run. So if he receives there and he plays the ball diagonally, then he runs straight. So they've got to be thinking about which sort of runs they make. Also, they've got to be aware that no corner is left free. So instead of just it being just a plain passing drill, push and move, now they're having to think about, well, which ball do I play and which corner do I go into? And this is a very simple practice to set up for any of our coaches, and it gets the players thinking.
Younger children again and a new venue again. Where are we now?
Well, we're still at Leeds United, but these are the young players that come in on an evening and train, and we're just going through a little session here which is encouraging the players to run before they pass. You know, it's a very important part of the game, is running with the ball as well as passing the ball. So here the players are actually being encouraged to get the ball out of their feet and start moving. Here we've got another little passing drill, also with very young players. And this time it's another variation. We can use the goalkeeper. He just plays the ball into the goalkeeper and moves off to the side round the marker and looks to receive the ball.
Now these children are clearly younger. What is this part of the academy? How often are they in at Leeds for training?
Yes, this is part of the Leeds Academy, and most of these boys are in 2-3 nights a week. And I'll talk about that later, just about the time input that they have. Here's a variation on the first one. This time he plays it in. The player moves round the cone and the ball is played inside the cone, and he just lays it back to the next one. So the drill is quite fluent. A good little drill for our young kids to be worked. Well, you could work with senior players as well in a warm-up type situation, but they're having to move off their toes. They're using left foot and right foot, and there are variations on it. This time I think as the ball plays in, this time he opens up his body and just plays the ball into the group again. The ball now is being played outside of the cone, so he's looking to open up, and this time plays the ball back to the keeper.
It's important then that even at a young age, young goalkeepers are used in the exercises?
Well, I think so, because I think I said previously that goalkeepers are often neglected, and it's very good if you can bring them in with the other players and involve them in the drill. And here's a very good drill where you can work with two young keepers, and they're getting plenty of ball handling. And now the drill's changed a little bit more, so that when the ball's played out to him, it rather than going forward with it, he looks to open up, and then he'll turn and play the ball back. Just simple variations. There's nothing much moved in the organisation of the session, but the coach has got the kids just giving them different variations, so they're having to receive the ball, turn with the ball, pass the ball, and you as a coach can maybe demand a little bit more quality off the players as well. But the setup's there for you. Now this time when you talked about a goalkeeper, here we've got another drill where the goalkeeper's in the middle, and whenever the coach shouts, then the players take a shot at the goalkeeper. So they play the ball around, and then when on the shout from the coach, they look to have a shot at the goalkeeper. So once again we're involving the keepers, and we're getting plenty of passing going as well.
And again, a different age group?
No, these are probably the same kids, but just a little variation now. We've got still a circle around with working with maybe 2 or 3 balls and 2 players in the middle. And they're just laying the ball off to each other. Now, when you talked about the academy, these are parents that they've also got to be dedicated and make sacrifices. It's a cold night in October, and these people bring their kids out 2 or 3 nights per week and throughout the season. So it's not only the kids that have been dedicated, the parents also.
in the light of day, different group?
Well, no, we're back in Holland now with the young players in Holland, and this one now becomes an opposed practice, and we'll see a lot of these little drills, usually 5 versus 2 or 6 versus 2, and here we see the senior players at Zwolle doing it. Now, our coaches can look at that situation there. They've got a full squad working. They've got 2 lots of games going. The area is very, very small. Everything's on one touch. You can't play back to the player who gave it to you, and the ball must stay below knee height. So they've got their little rules, and with it being on one touch, just watch how quickly the ball moves from player to player. And the footwork that these players have to have. They're playing the ball with the inside, the outside of the foot, and just keeping that ball moving very quickly. Makes it very difficult for the middle players to pressurise, although the area that they're playing in is very, very small.
I don't know how many of our kids would do this.
Now here we see some young players at Werder Bremen. These boys have just started playing this game. There's no coach in sight at this stage of it, and it makes me think, well, how many of our kids will actually do that? Too often we see them just whacking the ball at a goalkeeper before the coach arrives. These kids have set up their practice, and they're doing their own warm-up. They may be mucking around a little bit, but at least, you know, they've had the initiative to get going. Now the coaches arrived, and once again they're playing this 5 versus 2, keeping 2 players in the middle, and the condition of one touch is on, which makes it very, very difficult for the defenders to intercept the ball.
Where have we headed to now, Morris?
Well, this is still at Werder Bremen in Germany, and these are the first team squad players. And once again, playing the 2 in the middle, 5 or 6 players on the outside. But watch the ball movement in this little session. Players using inside and outside of the foot, always working off their toes, and it just speeds up their reaction. Very difficult for the inside players to get the ball off them.
And we just watch the feet and watch the speed of the footwork and the technique, as you say. They're using every part of the foot available.
Now, you spoke to me earlier about Winton Rufer. There's Winton in his playing days at Werder Bremen. This is the offices of the youth director at Werder Bremen. It's a very, very big organisation. They're very well organised, and this is just areas of the club. The historical pictures, and into the reception. These clubs are very, very big institutions. A lot of staff who work outside of the football area, and there we're looking on the training facilities are just down below. And once again now we've got the full squad working. From a coaching point of view, they've set up 3 practices going, so they've a big squad of about over 30 players, and so all the players are actually involved in this one in 3 different groups. And once again they work for maybe half an hour each session on just this one touch with 2 players in the middle. They have different rules as opposed to the players in Holland, where the ball wasn't allowed above the knee. It doesn't in this game. It doesn't matter. They can keep the ball. They can play the ball to the same player if they want. They can move it in the air. Just watch this sequence on this one. And now we're back at Leeds United with the under-19 players, and they're playing a passing game of even sides and just keeping possession of the ball, using 2-touch play, the condition put on, and if they make 5 passes, then they score a point by one player. There he goes, puts his foot on it, and so they score a point through doing that.
On now then to the technical side of the game. We've seen a lot of that illustrated in the sessions that we've just been watching. Where are we here?
Well, here we're at Treviso in Italy. They're a Serie A B team, and this is their stadium. And here we're just watching one of their first team players, and just a simple technical practice. He's got players serving the ball to him, and he's just playing the ball off left and right foot, sometimes using the side of the foot, other times using the laces part of the foot as though he's shooting for goal. But once again, look, he's just watching the ball onto the foot, working off the toes, keeping them feet moving very quickly, and just developing touch.
And this perhaps is specifically for the strikers?
The shooting one
Not
should be
specifically, but
placed
it's a very good
on the
one
time
for
of the
strikers
side.
because.
There's
But I
two
think any
balls
player
in
can
the
benefit
left,
from
he's
this
just
sort of
getting
practice because
just
you're getting
turning in the
lots and lots
direction.
of the ball coming to you and just developing
This
the
is
touch.
the head trainer of the club. He's just working as well in among them. And it's just, yeah.
Physically demanding as well, I guess, if you conduct this sort of a session over some length of time.
Well, yes, as you see, there are helpers there. So maybe one's working every four. So the others help as servers, and one player comes in and does so many shots, and then somebody else takes up. So that's your organisation for it.
Left and right foot again. We're looking to go through the middle of the goal. This time we're going in on the angle. He's hitting it left foot into one corner, right foot into the other.
And here we can see a close-up that he's just using the laces part of the foot, and very importantly, that both feet, that he's using left and right. Trying to get over the ball to keep it low.
And they just nice and loose.
Interesting, Morris, a ball for each player.
Yes, and I think that's something that we've got to aim at in New Zealand, that players have a ball each so that they can work on the skills on their own. Here we've got it in an organised system here, and just a nice little warm-up. The coach has got them moving backward and forward, keeping the ball off there. There aren't many top players who can't keep the ball off the ground for long periods of time. And here we've got them here in Italy, where it's quite warm, and loosely just moving up and down, keeping the ball off the ground. Here he's got them into a little technical practice, very much based on the Culver work, and it's just working in a little triangle, turning with the ball, showing a feint, and just keeping the feet moving with the ball at your feet.
Each one's got a little triangle that they work to.
Once again, he's got the whole squad working. Very easy to put setups like this.
Going
And as you
together,
said, Andrew,
doing
a
the
ball
turn
each,
very much
and
in
the
style.
players are getting
Yeah,
lots of
and
touches of the
Going
ball.
towards your kit partner and a quick
Noticeable also that they are all practicing the same turn. Is that part of the session, that they'll go through a number of turns and just repeat them over and over?
Exactly. Here he's got them doing in another setup with 4 players, and just turning on the ball, going back into the corner. And once again, you've got the whole squad working, and very easy to set up as a warm-up practice.
It's a good one for our kids as regards just getting the feeling of the ball. They use the underneath the foot while they were doing that little exercise before. Just got them in a setup now where they're just passing the ball backward and forward.
Now we've got just a simple receive and play. Ball between 2 players.
Nice and loose,
Just knocking the ball off, receive on one foot, and just playing it back. Looks to be all in one touch. But you can play the ball back using different areas of the foot as well.
Now he's got them taking it on the
Still
outside,
fairly relaxed, so
playing with
perhaps
the
an
Yes,
early
I-
part of the session.
playing with the
Yes, I
outside
found that very much
Yeah,
so
so if
with
you take it
this
on the
club
end,
that
you just play it on
the
the
kids
out,
train
so
for
that
longer.
they do
They're
quite
out there for up to 3 hours.
Still quite
But
nice and
but
loose.
initially, quite
take
a
it
lot
on
of it
the
is
in,
quite low
play
key,
with the
and
outs.
maybe this is the
Take it on
difference
the in,
between
play
Northern
with the
European and Southern European. That the
the
Latin
first
way of
position to
playing is a more relaxed way of
Yeah,
playing.
take it with the
And
outs.
and this is
Still
one of the
very nice and
differences that
very,
I went to look for, just to see the difference between different different countries and different clubs, their attitudes to training. Here we've got just a little one where he's playing the ball, working off his toes, just knocking the ball back to his partner.
Keep it between your feet.
and just getting those. The lot of emphasis on footwork. Look at this one where he's just rolling the ball using the sole of his foot and then just making a pass back to his partner.
Yeah, knock it in, sole of the foot. Yeah, and knock it back side of the foot. Yeah, close it with the left. Close it with the left.
Technical work combined with a little physical work.
Yes, I think they've upped the tempo a little bit on this one, where he's just you can see the setup for yourself, and the player are just going through and getting plenty of heading on the ball, touches on the ball, and as you said, Andrew, it can also be made into a physical practice. Can this one?
Good.
It's both technical and physical.
Let some jump. Let some jump.
Now he's taking the ball on his chest, so the setup's the same, but just the variations. Now he's controlling on the chest and looking to play back with his foot. Chest and foot. And once again, the idea of using both the left foot and the right foot is very, very important. Too many of our players only want to play off one foot. These guys are being encouraged always to use both the left and the right foot.
Yeah.
A very easy practice for our coaches to set up. That's your organisation, and as you pointed out, it can be made into a physical practice as well as a technical one.
Variation.
Now we're passing. Little variation again, that they're playing the ball in and just moving off, using left foot and right foot again. Look at the quick feet as well on this one.
The communication also through many of these technical practices is important so that the players know what's expected of them from the other players.
Exactly, yes, and it's something that we do try and encourage our players, in particular in game situations, is this idea of communicating to each other. It's all part of teamwork.
Yeah, keep going, boys, keep going.
There's some young soccer budding professionals happy in their work, Morris.
Oh, exactly, yes, they enjoy the practice. They go to school in the morning, and then in the afternoon they come and play football. It's probably a dream for a lot of young men.
Louis.
How was the communication, Morris, for yourself? A few language problems?
Quite a few, Andrew, yes. My Italian is just a smattering, and there weren't many people who could speak English either, so a lot of sign language, but I had very good rapport with the coaches and the players at this club, so it was a very enjoyable time for me.
Variation on that.
Here we've got just a simple little one where he's playing the ball over, looking to receive and play back. Once again, very much at a low key. We could speed it up if you wanted. If you in cold weather, if you're doing something like that, you might throw the ball further and get the players working a little bit harder. And here's just a variation on the other thing that we saw before, and this time once again working off his toes, using the side of the foot, watching the ball onto his foot, playing the ball left foot and right foot.
And again, like the small-sided games, in most places that you visited, they spent a lot of time on this aspect?
They played, in the early parts of the session, a lot of work, technical work like this, and then they went further on into the small-sided games and other areas. But there's certainly a lot of emphasis, and remember that these players are training every day, so they're getting a lot of touches on the ball to help them develop their techniques. Once again, using the chest, playing it onto the foot.
Knee, thigh.
This time the knee, left foot and right foot, and sharp little foot movements.
Left and right. Left and right.
good practices for warm-ups for our coaches. Now this is at the canteen after training. These, as I said before, these kids go to school in the morning. They train in the afternoon, and then they come back to the club. They're fed by the club, and they're housed in apartments by the club as well. They come from all over Italy. Some of the boys from Naples, from Rome, from Venice. So it's very few of them actually come from Treviso.
We're back in Germany.
Yes, we're back at Werder Bremen again, and this time it's just the coach just showing a little drill of screening the ball, keeping the ball away from your opponent. And as you see, it's very important to keep your body between the ball and the opponent. Some of these boys, to me, look a little bit as though they're flat on, and I think they should be a little bit more side on. But the main thing about this practice, look at his using his little turns. He's keeping his body between the ball and his opponent.
Some work here for the goalkeepers.
I think this is just a little interlude and a little just a little physical practice before they go on to the next one.
Now the senior players out there.
Well, no, these are still youth players, but they're older boys. And here we've just got them a ball each in a small area. And once again, the coach isn't actually telling them what to do. He's allowing them free expression just to work in the grid. Because there are a lot of them in it, I would be expecting my players, and I think the coach would be telling them to be playing with their eyes up so that they're not banging into people, but also using lots of little touches of the ball. But this is a good little practice to get players playing so that they're looking up and assessing what's going on around them. Now we've got into a little drill, just running with the ball, and it's just into a small square, and they're just moving round the markers, making turns as they go around the markers.
And again, a good variation as far as perhaps a warm-up exercise might go.
Absolutely, and here's another variation of that. We're still encouraging them to run with the ball, but now just make a turn. When he makes the turn, it's using the sole of the foot, which happens many times in a game. You're going in one direction, and then you just turn round and go off in another. Similar sort of thing happening here. Once again, free expression, just do your own little turns, and these are a few ideas that our coaches can use as well. Going off in one direction, yeah, it might be blocked, so I go off in another direction.
And again, is this a change of venue again, Morris?
Yes, now we're back at Leeds United again, and this time with the under-17 players, and they're doing just a simple things. We saw it in Italy, just knocking the ball to each other, playing the ball off. This time I think the players are asked to maybe get the ball out of their feet a little bit and looking to receive with the inside of the foot, play it with the outside of the foot. And here we've got the under-19 players doing another little drill where they're looking to receive it. They're in a circle, they receive the ball from the player on the outside, and they run and find somebody on the opposite side of the area. Something that you can watch and copy and use with your own players. He's going in one direction, okay, leaves the ball there, and then someone else comes and gets the ball off him. Here's just a little interlude where they're using heading and also maybe working on their doing abdominal work.
All the time through most of these exercises, the coaches will be stressing the technical side of it, the technique, whether it's with the passing, whether it's with the heading, it's the technique that we're talking about.
Yes, these are not what you would say skill practices, these are more technical practice. Yeah. And here we've got them now. This is the young boys at night at Leeds United, and once again he's got now 8 players here. 4 are inside the circle or inside the square, and just doing little touches and feints over the ball. Let's watch them. I think for many people who watched the Under-17 World Cup in New Zealand, saw a lot of players from other countries just doing these little feints on the ball, and this is where it starts off at even younger age than this, where the players are encouraged to manipulate the ball, to use the sole of the foot to turn, to do little feints on the ball. The coach doesn't need to demonstrate these, it's all, allow the kids' expression to do it. And there's your coaching organisation, 4 on the outside, 4 on the inside. You can work with maybe 16 players, 2 squads working.
We'll talk more about the coaches a little later, but already in evidence is the organisation. Nothing's left to chance, everything's well planned.
Yes, and that's one area that we will cover later on. Here we've got the players now in a running and passing situation, but now there's an opponent brought into this session, and can the player receiving the ball, can he move past him? I think we come back to that one. Once again, in that group of 8, just one player moving round, the other stationary. When he's finished his little episode, then the next one will take over. Yes, here we go again. This is encouraging players to run with the ball, to receive and run with the ball, and can he cut across his opponent before his opponent can get it? Once again, he receives it. He must get the ball out of his feet, not too far that it can be intercepted, but far enough that he can do his running. Going at pace, and this time he cuts across his player and is able to play it in. This time he knocks it round him and then getting his pass in.
Now, this doesn't look like Europe.
No. Well, this is when I visited Brazil, and once again, a similar sort of practice that we've seen before, but a different variation on it. And these Brazilian players, they're senior team players, they're all professional players. But once again, and I think you remarked before, Andrew, the simplicity of it. They're just receiving the ball, looking to lay off, but there are hidden things in this. I mean, the speed of the foot, look how they're turning as he receives it. Gets it on the knee, plays it back with a combination. Sometimes it's the left foot, sometimes it's the right foot. So these guys are forever sharpening up their techniques. And these are all little variations that our coaches can use. One ball between 2, one player working now, he's just playing it back on the half volley. This time a little variation, he takes it on the knee, on the thigh, plays the ball back in his second touch without the ball touching the ground. So there are heaps and heaps of, and the setup for the coach is there. You can have a full squad of say 16 players working, one ball between 2, and away you go. And you're sharpening the tech. Look at the quick feet on this guy. He's receiving and just playing it back in left foot and right foot. His arms working, his feet working.
Were there any major differences from Europe to South America that you noticed?
I think that every country and every club even has its different ways of doing things. And sure, in Brazil, a lot more emphasis on the climate's such that the players tend to play probably a more low key and with the ball. But we've seen similar practice to this in Europe. It's just different variations of it, and it's very good if the coaches can just write down what's going on here. I've used these practice many times with very young players and even up to senior players as well.
So on to an area of the game that in particular the kids and I guess the seniors as well, Maurice, they love to practice the crossing and finishing.
Yes, this is one area. Here we are in Holland again, and this time we've got the players moving for near and far post crossing. The ball's played out to the flank, the ball's played across, and 2 players coming on the ball. As you can see, it's all done in one touch or one or two touch. The ball played out to the flank. One player moves in for the near post, the second player for the far post. As you can see, if they miss the target, then the punishment is they've got to sprint back. If they get the ball on target, then they can jog back. So there's a little combination to begin with between the two players. The ball goes out to the flank, the ball comes across, a near post runner, this time he leaves it, the second player comes in and scores. They can jog back because they got the ball on target. Here's just a little different combination, ball played out, one touch to control, second touch the ball goes in, a shot on target.
Now, some coaches might be suggesting this is far too simple, but we are going to see more complicated versions of this. Is it important to start with the simple ones?
Well, yes, it is. But it's once again a technical practice as well as a functional practice, and sure, as we'll see, we can build up on that. But certainly, it was important that their club used to do a lot of the one-touch play. Here we're in Treviso again with the young boys. And here we've got the combination going. The ball's played out to the flank. This time another player comes to play a wall pass with him. The cross goes in, and we've got two players going on it. One going on the near post who scores in that case.
Out to the flank.
There are many variations. This time the ball's out to the flank. The player from the flank moves in and plays the ball forward to two strikers.
Plays it in. He just lays
Ball
it
played
there.
in, laid back to a
Goes for the
midfielder
ball
who
pass
sets
for
it
the
up to the
man
flank
who's making
player
run.
who brings the
The
ball
other two
across,
coming in
and it's
near
scored
far.
on the shot on the
Again,
far post.
Out to the flank.
And this is where the technical work that we've seen is put into practice?
Exactly,
in.
yes.
Out
Yes,
to
if
the
these
flank
boys
again.
can't control or they can't pass a ball, then
post,
it's no good
strike
putting
and
them
goal.
into practices like this. That's why you're only as good as the ability of your players to be able to control and the technical ability.
Plays it inside.
This time another variation where the ball's played into the midfield across and for a player coming in on the far post. So coaches can use all these variations. Very simple, but this is how it happens in a game. Here we've played a wall pass with someone, the ball's played back and a shot on goal. Here we're at Werder Bremen now on the AstroTurf, and here's a double wall pass. He plays it in once, plays it in twice, and still the same runs. One player coming on the near post, another player coming on the far post. This time the near post player scores. This time he lets it go through and the second player comes in and shoots.
Another variation again, we're looking at specifically finishing now.
Yes, we're coming on to finishing now. At the moment, we just this is just some of the young boys in between. As the sessions go on, they give them a little break so that the players can recover a little bit, and then they're on to the session.
They're practicing free kicks, an illustration again that these marvellous technical free kicks that we see, they're not by accident.
No. They're trying to get curve on the ball by hitting the ball off centre, and it just gets the ball to spin and curve. Here we're into a wall pass, into a finishing situation, a shooting situation. The ball's played in, round the post, to a player who's acting as a wall. This side it's played with the outside of the foot and gets his shot. From this side it's played on the inside of the foot and he gets his shot on target. The players revert to each side so that they're getting a combination of using the outside of the foot to play the ball in, and from this side using the inside of the foot.
In this type of a session, Morris, what's important to emphasise at this stage? Hitting the target?
Well, yes, I think initially though, it's like a situation where you can be on the edge of the penalty area, you play a quick wall pass into someone, get the return, and then put the ball in the net. And so the emphasis is on finishing. It's not necessarily on hammering the ball in, it's a case of putting the ball in the net. But prior to that, on the edge of the penalty area in particular, and I don't think we see enough of this, where we play a quick wall pass and get a shot on goal. Now he's gone into a variation of that where we've got three players in this one. The ball's played in, laid off, and then laid forward to a striker who looks to get the shot on target. And once again, these are all little drills that can be can be watched and copied and written down, and we're all, as coaches, we're always looking for variations, particularly on shooting drills, and these are ones I've taken them from Europe, from Italy, from Germany, from England, from Brazil, Argentina, wherever I go and watch players, and I just jot them down.
So it's the third man running.
And it adds to a repertoire.
Let's have a look again. Lays it in, lays it back, and he goes. Lays it to the front man who lays it off, and he gets his shot.
Simulating a game situation again, we're changing the situation, we're chipping the ball perhaps over a midfielder into a striker.
Exactly, and there you've got a player who, with his back to the goal, the ball's played in, okay, just with his back to goal, often with a defender behind him, so he just lays the ball back to a player running in. Let's see if they do it again. This time he just lays it into him, and a player coming in from behind has a shot on goal. Now we're with the young children again at Werder Bremen, and this time it's just a little simple passing and crossing. And kids need to be taught this. They're doing a little interchange of passing. One player takes it to just outside the 6-yard box, and he plays the ball across. Notice that he plays the ball back across the goal rather than too many. Often you'll see the young kids just play it in front of the goalkeeper or to the goalkeeper, and instead of pulling the ball away from the keeper. And this is what these boys are being encouraged to do.
Now to the edge of the penalty area.
This time the practice has been extended to go to the edge of the penalty area, and that time, just what I was saying before, instead of pulling it back, it went straight to the goalkeeper. Let's see how these two work it.
Pulls it across.
And this time he pulled the ball back into the other player, who, as a coach, you can work on the timing of the runs of the players that are coming in. We don't want the striker in there yet, but as the ball comes across, then we want him in. But there again, too near the goalkeeper, a good chance, a good opportunity wasted. Let's see how these two do it. And this time it's pulled back. The striker was in a little bit too near, but he had to check out and get his shot on goal. This time we're going into a simple shooting drill. One player goes forward, back heels it, the other one comes in and shoots.
Through all of this, once again, it's also good work for the goalkeepers.
Absolutely, yes. The goalkeeper's very much involved in these, and usually the keepers enjoy it. They like to be tested.
Is a coach looking for power here, Morris, or again is it accuracy?
Yeah, a combination of both. I think at the end of the day we want to see the ball in the net, and if sometimes it does need the power, other times it's a case of getting it into the corner. But we call it finishing rather than shooting, because ideally we want to see the ball in the back of the net. Here we've got a simple one now where the players are just playing the ball across, coming in and having a shot on goal. And this one, as you see as the practice goes on, we're using left and right foot. But you can look at the player's technique on that. For example, there the player hit over the bar, so that means something was wrong. He hit underneath the ball and maybe lifted his head up, which and once you hit under the ball, it goes over the top. So we've got to concentrate on our players, make sure that they keep their head down, knee over the ball, and that they keep the ball low. And it's very easy to tell in drills like this whether the players have got the technique. If the ball's always going over the bar, then there's something wrong. And here now we've just got a little dribbling in and out the cones, in and out the markers, and a shot on goal. Once again, left and right foot.
Are you shaking it?
All of these exercises are simulating a game situation again, though. They're running across the penalty area, beating 2 or 3 players here and finishing on goal.
Yes, I think that the markers there are making the player dribble in and out of them and then having a shot on goal. Now we've got a 1v1 situation where an attacker versus a defender, and the defender plays the ball in. The attacker receives the ball, and now he looks to go at the defender. And he's got to take risks to get round, because it's one-on-one. If he beats the defender, he's in for a shot on goal. But this time, the defender comes out on top. Once again, take a risk, show a little dribble, and this time he may be brought down or the defender intervenes. Now from this one the ball's being crossed from the flank and the player's receiving it, taking it on the chest and looking to get a shot on goal. So it's one touch to control, and in his second touch he got a shot in on target. This time the ball's got a little bit out of his feet and it's probably taken him too long. A defender would have been in. Now we're making shots from the edge of the penalty area, and players are playing the ball in from a deep position. The coach just laying the ball off and players coming in and having a shot at goal. Just another variation. Now the young boys at Leeds, remember that we saw them doing the little feints on the ball before. Now they're using cones and they're taking it round the cones, using a feint. That time he tried to chip the goalkeeper. So we're combining now the feints that we've learnt in isolation, combining them now with shots on goal. Sometimes the cone wins, as it did there.
I think I know the answer, Morris, already, but do New Zealand children at a young age learn these types of skills often enough? The turn, I guess many coaches would say, get rid of the fancy stuff out of your game.
Yeah. Yes, that's unfortunately the case. I mean, I think most of our top coaches would know to work with the young ones in this way, but obviously we have a big shortage of coaches, and too often the kids are sent running around the park and they're not given these sort of practices. And this is the big thing about this video, that we're seeing live action of professional clubs developing their young players, and the proof is there for you. This is another passing drill. This time they play the ball past the first striker into the second striker, who lays it into his path. And now we're just finishing up with just showing the boys how to put curve on the ball. He's just putting it into the player's path. This time he miscued completely. This time, yeah, the goalkeeper saved well, but he put a lot of curl on the ball by hitting off centre.
This back in Brazil?
Yes, this is just another finishing drill where the players are playing a wall pass with the coach. Then they carry on their runs and someone crosses a ball in for a header. So it's a combination of shooting and heading. Lays the ball off, gets his shot on goal, carries on his run, the ball comes in again, and he gets a header on goal. This time these are other Brazilian players. Once again, a lot of accent on this little quick turns, get it moving round cones, looking to get his shot on goal. Someone serving the ball in. And coaches can improvise on these practices. You can make little drills where the players have to move in and out cones, in and out sticks, just so that they're getting plenty of movement, plenty of footwork, plenty of body work, and finish off with a technical. Okay, now in this session here we've got a large goal and two small goals on the halfway line. We've got a 3 versus 3 situation. It could be more. It could be 4 versus 4, 5 versus 5. When one team, this was a defending team, when they win the ball they look to score, and then they become attackers. So there's a constant movement from being an attacking player to a defensive player. Here the Greens as defenders have won the ball, they put it into a small goal, so now they become the attackers. So there's a constant switching of between being an attacking player and a defender. All the techniques that they've done before are in this one, where they're turning on the ball, they're dribbling, in that case they're shooting. Now the black team, now they've scored a goal, so now they become the attackers, all right, and the Greens looking to intercept it.
So as a coach, you'd be looking for quite a number of the sessions that we've seen. You'd be looking for the kids to bring that in now.
Yes, absolutely. Now, here we've got this game, it's a 4 versus 4. No coaching in this game. It's played throughout Holland, one afternoon per week throughout the season. And the kids are put in a small area, small goals, and they're just allowed to play. These are inter-club games, and the National Association of Holland have recommended that this happens. And thousands of kids are playing this game every one afternoon per week. There are lots of opportunity for turning on the ball, for passing the ball, for scoring goals. Everywhere. There are only 4 on each side, so each of the players is being involved. Here we've got little girls playing. There's also competition for girls, and it's the same type of thing. Small dimensions of a field, 4 versus 4, no referees, no goalkeepers, but plenty of touches on the ball. And I think that this is the sort of thing that could be taken up in New Zealand very successfully with players below 10 years.
Draait je naar de goal toe, hè? Dat wordt heel erg te moeilijk. En met links moeten doen. Dan draait je naar de goal toe, dan draait je dat er vanaf.
So the children, in effect, just make the rules themselves?
Well,
or?
the rules are set. If the ball goes out of touch, you play it in by just playing in with the feet. But here we've got a panoramic view of, this is just a small village club in Eastern Holland. Now this is going on throughout the whole country, so there are actually thousands of kids playing.
So we're still in Holland, Morris, but now at senior level.
Yes, this time this game is played, the players have been separated into 3 teams of 5, and there are the 1 team on the outside of the grid, the 2 teams on the inside are looking to gain possession of the ball, and then they're allowed to play the ball to the players on the outside. So we're continually getting a 10 versus 5 situation. Can we keep possession of the ball? Once again, the condition of 1 and 2 touches has been put on it, but with our own players, you don't have to do that. They can have more touches if they want, but the coach is once again looking as much as he can for ball speed, and this can become very competitive. Here you see sequences of the blacks now playing with the orange who are on the outside, keeping it away from the blues. How many passes can they make? They're having quite a long sequence. And now we've gone into the same number of teams, 3 teams of 5, but now we've got 2 goalkeepers and 2 goalposts. And now we're playing in a smallish area, and the team that scores first stays on, the other team goes off. Can you make 5 consecutive victories? Or else the first team to get to 10 points is the winner.
So once again, this can become quite competitive.
Absolutely, yes, because there's 3 teams of 5. The ones that lose get punished. Their blacks have scored a goal, so the other team go off and the other team come on. Now, the advantage of these small-sided games is that the players are getting lots of touches of the ball. There's no hiding. You've got 5 versus 5 or 4 versus 4, so there's no hiding. There's a lot of movement, a lot of opportunities for wall passing, for getting shots on goal. Here comes a goal now where he just plays it in 1 touch and it's back of the net. Orange win that one, so blacks go off. Once again, the coach has put the condition of 1 or 2 touch. With our players, we might let them have as many touches as they want. It depends what the coach wants to achieve by it. But here certainly ball speed is very important, and look at that, 1 touch and he gets a shot on goal. Here come the winning team. Here come the winning team. I've only got New Zealand dollars, so I couldn't pay them for it. The other teams that have both lost are running around the pitch.
Thank you.
So you can make the sessions very competitive.
So the same club and a small-sided game once again, but with a variation.
Yes, on this one, Andrew, we've got 2 teams of 3 playing possession inside an area, and 2 other players who are floating players. So there's always a combination of 5 against 3. So if oranges have got the ball, well, the 2 yellow players, they combine with them and they try to keep the ball away from the 3 black players and see how many passes we can make before we lose possession of the ball. Once again, look at the ball speed that's happening here, because the coach has put the condition of 1 and 2 touch on the ball.
Bring the ball on the ground.
A good session here, not only for the players in possession, but for the defensive players as well.
Absolutely, yes. Both attackers and defenders can be coached on those. Here we've got now a 4v4 setup. There are 2 teams of 4. 2 of the players from each side are inside the grid, 2 of the players outside. Can you combine with your own player on the outside and make numbers of passes? Here we've got Orange in possession. They can only use their Orange player on the outside, and so it becomes 4 versus 2, keeping the ball away from the black players. The defenders, as you say, he's worked hard and he's won the ball. Now the situation, once again, Orange against black in the same setup. Can we keep the ball away from them? Very difficult to pressurise these players when they're playing one-touch.
Some lovely skill here with the one-touch passing under pressure.
Absolutely, yes. Very difficult to pressurise players when the ball's being laid off very, very quickly like this. And all these players are accomplished players, and obviously in the game they do run with the ball, but the emphasis particularly at this club was how quickly can we move it in our passing movement, and here's the evidence of it.
Yeah.
And again, this is a competitive element to the game in Europe.
Well, here we are, Andrew. This is at an amateur club in Holland, and this is just some junior kids playing, under 10 years old, but everything's played in smaller sides than what we do. This is a 7-a-side game, and most of their competitive games under the age of 10 is played in 7 versus 7. Here's the real littlies, and they're very much like kids happen in our country, where they're very egocentric. They all want the ball, they all crowd round the ball, but the emphasis is on cutting game, getting away from the 11-a-side. Here we've got girls playing, and they're playing across the field. And this is, once again, it's an inter-club game, but it's 7 versus 7, which means that there's more involvement from all the players. They're more involved in the game, they're getting more touches of the ball and enjoying it more, and it's developing their technique better.
Yeah, just keep it going. And it is, it's just one touch.
And we're back on to the training paddock again.
Yes, we're back in Italy now, and this is a little practice, I must say. I've used quite a lot. It's 2 grids, 3 versus 1 in the grid. You get a point every time you pass the ball over to the other side. So we're looking at keeping possession of the ball, away from the one person in the middle. Can I get the ball across and score a point? Here we're just into another small-sided game. Once again, the areas are fairly closely marked out, and so it means a lot of involvement from the players. On this particular one, players are stationed at the side of the goal, and the attacking team can use them as walls. They can play the ball to them and receive it back from them. This time the green player plays it in, looks to play it into the wall player, gets it back and has a shot on goal. So this is just once again another variation that coaches can use. A lot of involvement from the players, everything that comes out in the big game, apart from maybe real long passing.
Yeah, man down the goal, but he missed it this time. Touches. This is a game, small-sided game, try contact.
Now we've got the senior players here at Werder Bremen.
So once again they're playing.
And again, the exercises don't vary too much from the littlies right through to the senior players.
No, the thing is that with the more skillful, the more professional the players are, the more that they make things difficult for them by putting on conditions such as 1 and 2 touch. And obviously if you can use this same small-sided game, this is just maybe 5v5, 6v6 in a smaller area. If the players are not so proficient, then you can then you can give them as many touches as they want on the ball. But these are top-class professional footballers, so the coach makes them, he wants a lot of ball speed. The players have all got good touch on the ball, so things are made quite difficult and competitive for them. As you're watching this, you can see that most of the passing, it's played in 1 and 2 touch.
Passes.
This is in now into a little small-sided game where the area, we're looking on possession of the ball, and the area is very, very close. It's very, very tight. These players are having to move. See how they're all having to move quickly round, looking to keep possession of it, but always under pressure. These have found a little bit of space, but soon the defenders come in. And the emphasis once again, as much as we can, how many passes can we make in very, very tight situations. This is how often now it is in top-class football, where players don't have the space to move around in.
Looks, it's goal post from penalty area to penalty area. Looks like probably 9v9 with two goalkeepers. Look as though they play offside as well, because they're all pushing.
Just because it is a small-sided game, Morris, though, the finishing isn't taken out of it. It's a vital part of these games.
Absolutely. In a smaller game, there's a lot of opportunities to shoot. But now he's moved it into a 9 versus 9, so it's in a bigger area. But once again, it's not the full length of the field. The goalposts are put on the edge of the penalty area, and so these players are playing a 9v9 game. Once again, lots of opportunities for many touches of the ball, a lot of involvement from the players. The players are allowed to play an offside in this situation, so there are a lot of areas where it becomes very, very tight, and so that they have to use their skills. Here you see the player trying to use the width of the area. They're looking to find space when space has been closed down.
Here we are.
And another variation, are we back at Leeds again?
Yes, we're back at Leeds now with the youth team, and this is a small-sided game that's been set up, looking at trying to encouraging the players to shoot. I think they've got 5 versus 5 in the middle with 2 goalkeepers, but see how it's a small, the length of the pitch is quite small. The field has been made quite narrow, so that there's lots of opportunities, a lot of shooting opportunities for the players. They can just set it up in one touch and look to have a shot in the other. Here he's looking to find a cross, play the ball across the goal for someone to have a strike. So as soon as they get possession, can I look to have a shot on goal? Now the coach's organisation has made the dimensions so that there's plenty of opportunities for these players, and he'll be encouraging the players to take a shot on every opportunity.
There's it across the zone, straight up to the striker. There's it back into the midfield. Keeps possession, knocks it to the back man. Goes across the back line again. 3 versus 2. Yeah. Plays it in. Up to the front man. Screens it. Good.
Okay, we've got a separate practice here where the coach has divided the teams into a defensive area, a midfield area and an attacking area. On each player, and 3 players have to stay in their defensive, 2 in the midfield and 2 strikers up front. And this gives the players a good idea of holding their positions, holding the shape between in the team, and looking now to compete. 2 midfielders against 2 midfielders, 2 strikers against 3 defenders. When they get possession of the ball, okay, can they hold on to possession? Here we've got the defenders holding on to the ball. Can I play it into the midfield? Yes, he does. Comes back into the back line, up to the front player. Okay, they've lost possession now, so the midfielder of the other team. Now can the defenders hold possession until they can play the ball forward? 3 versus 2, they're looking to hold. Yes, he's been able to find it in the midfield. The ball's played back into the back line. Can I get the ball forward? Yes, I can. Okay, the striker screening the ball. Everything that they do in the main game is coming out in this small-sided game. So now all the technical practices are being put, and just watch this little player here. Watch his skills, his technique, put the ball through the legs, still carries on running with the ball, beats one player, beats another, and then comes back with the ball. All the little feints we've seen when he was about a 10-year-old, and lays it off for a striker, and now he can take the ball and he scores a point by running the ball over the dead ball line. You can use goals for that little practice as well.
This now, Morris, clearly bricks and mortar. This is the academy itself where we've seen so many of these Leeds children practicing?
Yes, this is the academy at Leeds United, and they've got about 28 players, I think, who stay here. They go to school all day on a Wednesday and I think half a day on Monday, but the rest of the time they train twice a day. So obviously they're getting a lot of football.
The Leeds United training areas. These are all weather pitches here. Quite a few of them. And then you go down to where there's another area here.
Which stadium is this, Morris?
This is the stadium at Werder Bremen in Germany. As you can see, they're a very top-class club playing the Bundesliga, and they get very big crowds for their games. In fact, this was the players just warming up an hour before the game against Kaiserslautern.
Plays it in, controls, 3 defenders come out against 4 attackers.
So we're specifically working the attack against the defence. Is there a bias towards one or the other, or can a coach work with both?
Well, you're dead right there, Andrew. In this case, the coach can work with both. I think the emphasis on this in this little practice is on the attacker, because he's got 3 defenders plus a goalkeeper. The defenders play the ball up to, and there's 4 attackers. And the ball's switched out to the flank, and then they look to play the ball across to the other flank. So what the attackers are trying to do is draw the defenders over to one side of the field, and then look to see if they can switch the ball over to the other. So they're constantly looking to create space on the flanks so that they can exploit it. And here we see a lovely little 1-2 pass, and the ball goes in the back of the net. So sure, we're looking at defensive skills as well, but he's overloaded the attack so that he can bring out his points. Watch here as the player's going down the flank, and someone else recreates the space by going outside of him and then looks to get his cross in. So the defenders are being switched around, and they're trying to drag the defenders over to one side so that they can switch play with a long pass and go out the other side of the field.
To the flank.
Once again, looking attack again, and look how the player on the outside, he recreates the space, but this time the defender comes in and wins it.
Kan ik goed Duits spreken? Spreken? Hey? Nee? Ja?
Ja.
Can you English speak? Speak English? No?
Yes.
International footballers should speak English. Is that what?
Yes.
Yeah? Yes? Yeah, good.
Er steht ganz hinten, da kann er ihn anwerfen. Du musst immer so weit zurück. Dann könnt ihr auch automatisch wechseln. Ja? Bleib mal draußen jetzt.
Now, where are we here, Morris? And what's the coach trying to emphasise here?
Yes, this is very much a continuation of the team, the first team. This is the youth team at one of the youth teams at Werder Bremen. This time the coach has restricted the back four players to working on the edge of the penalty area, and he's overloaded the attack. He's got about 8 attacking players that the ball's played out into the midfield, and then they look to attack the 4 defenders. So the ball's played out to the midfield, he receives and sets up play, and once again they're looking to get the ball out wide, drag the defenders over to one side, and then look to switch play across to the other. And once again you'll see the emphasis, the ball's played out wide, and look at that player running outside of him to recreate the width, and this gives hopefully gaps in the middle. The defenders are drawn across there, and now the ball's switched across to someone here. You've got the advantage very much in the attackers because you've got an 8 versus 4 situation, but he's working very much on attacking play. Of course, like you said before, that you can work on your back four in this. They're having to communicate to each other, and there again, the defenders just won the ball. So the defenders are also put under a lot of pressure in a practice like this.
One's going tight, the other one's just doing that bit.
Back at Leeds again?
The ball's played into the striker.
Yes, this time we're back at Leeds, and once again, this is an attack vs defence situation put into a small-sided game, and now we're looking at 2 defenders there against 3 attackers. So once again, the attackers have been given the extra numbers, and they're asked. The coach will be asking them to can he exploit the situation of 3 versus 2. The setup is fairly simple. The ball's played into a striker who can laze the ball back into 2 other players, and now it becomes the ball's played high up. The defender's allowed to head the ball away, but now it becomes 3 versus 2. Can the attackers exploit? And look at the 2 defenders. Number 1 defender taking the man on the ball, the second defender putting on cover. Now, in this situation, you asked me the question before, you can work on both attacking play and defensive. There's a striker receiving it with a defender in his back, the ball's clipped up, the defender clears the ball, and now it becomes 3 versus 2. Can these attackers quickly exploit the defenders?
The defenders have to work well together.
And in this case, they do just that.
Normally they'd ask you to head it wide.
Now we can look at the defenders. How do they cope with this attack? The ball's played up. He's asking them to head the ball high, not so much wide in this situation because he's narrowed the pitch. But now comes 3 versus 2. The defenders are jockeying off, holding up. If they can hold up the attackers long enough, that gives more chance in a game for the other defenders to come around. This time the defenders won it. And he's working from both sides, so the whole squad can be working on this. Now we're looking to attack again. Defenders holding up, and they're working together. a lot of pressure on them, but this is how the communication gets going, and each player calling as he's going in, jockeying, and really the defenders have won this battle because they've slowed the attackers down so long, and this guy gets round, but the second defender clears it.
And they've got 2 goals there, so the defenders are looking into score into that goal and also into that one. So we've got 2 goals to shoot at, the defenders. The attackers
Now we've got another attack versus defence situation, and this is just a functional practice with the very young boys, this, and an attack versus defence. The setup is quite simple. If the defenders win it, can they score in the small goals on the halfway line? If the attackers have the ball, can I get a shot on goal? And really one coach is working on the attacking play, the other coach is working on the defenders.
Defenders win that.
The defenders win that, and they score a goal into the small goal, so the attackers come once again onto the attack. This time, can they create a chance? Yes, he does, and the ball goes back to the halfway line.
Now this, Morris, the Leeds senior squad, and I think we might see Danny Hay involved here.
Yes, there's Danny just in the action, and what's happening here is that it is an attack versus defence situation, but the coach is working on defensive play mainly, and he's just set it up so that it's individual defending. As soon as the ball's played into the attacker, the defender has to come in and stop him from turning. And the coach will be looking at the body positions of the players, that they bend the knees, they get low, and don't allow the attacker to go around them. In he comes, the attacker screening the ball, the defender.
Some work now, Morris, for your favourite neglected players, the goalkeepers.
Well, yes, I mean, there's a special. I particularly took note of what the goalkeepers were doing because they are neglected a lot of the times. And these are just simple little exercise here. We've got the coach just warming up a keeper. He's working with him on his own, and I think coaches should take a little bit of time out to work with the keeper. He's just serving him the ball, and he's getting his body behind it. In this case, the goalkeeper, he's been warmed up again. This time, the coach is just encouraging him to take the ball and dive as he's taking it. This one here, just playing the ball through the goalkeeper's legs, and he turns and collects it. Just little warm-up exercises, one-on-one with the coach. Once again, he's got the goalkeeper just taking the ball, getting his body behind it, working off his toes, keeping him moving.
At senior level especially, Morris, should a coach, if assistance is available, should they look to try and bring a specialist goalkeeping coach in from time to time?
Absolutely, I think you're dead right there that it is a specialist position. A lot of coaches have neglected it, and if you can get a specialist goalkeeper coming in and working with your players, then that's the ideal situation. And I think the goalkeepers themselves appreciate it.
Just some reaction work here for the keepers.
Yes, he's just turning his back in the other, and the other goalkeeper will probably be shouting, and it's a quick turn down on the ball, getting his hands behind the ball and looking to cover it. You spoke about specialist goalkeeping. Well, here's a specialist goalkeeping coach. He's coming in working with the top keepers at Leeds United.
As well as the exercise here, important to watch the technique of the keepers here, keeping the hands out in front, and just watch the technique each time.
Absolutely. You'll notice on this that when the ball's played in, the goalkeeper's down on the ground, body behind it. This time he couldn't take it in his hands, so he palmed the ball around the goal. So even though it's a quick reaction drill is this one, his technical ability has to be very good, and is to make decisions whether to catch it. That time the goalkeeper could catch the ball, and notice the way he wraps his body around it, so any strikers coming in wouldn't be able to get at the ball. Reacts quickly, and once again gets down on the ball very quickly. And see a situation there where the ball, he couldn't catch it, knocks it onto the bar, but doesn't give up. As the ball comes down, his quick reaction, he gets on the ball very quickly. And this is what we want our goalkeepers to do. Hands behind the ball, takes the ball quite comfortably. This time he couldn't catch the ball, so he palms the ball over the top. Here we're looking at a reaction where the goalkeeper's turning his back on the ball, and now he's just let in a goal, so the coach does what all good coaches do. He's going in to correct the technique or tell the player where he's gone wrong. Looking at his starting position, and this time the goalkeeper takes it cleanly. Here we've got a situation where the shot's being fired at the goalkeeper, and two players are standing in case he lets it go, and if they do, they can put it in the net. So there's a bit of pressure on the keeper. That time he palmed it away from the players coming in.
Did, yeah.
Once again, quick reaction, and up he gets to save it, covers the ball so it doesn't get away, and no one can come in and score a goal against him. Another quick reaction, one ball after the other, lets to him, but then makes a good save on the third one.
These sessions can be physically quite demanding on the goalkeepers also.
Oh, absolutely, Andrew. The goalkeepers, my experience of goalkeepers is they love to work hard and they love individual practice, and if you can get 2 or 3 of them in situations like this, they'll work all morning for you. Talking of hard work, here's a goalkeeper with a Brazilian coach.
The emphasis here again on the goalkeeper's movement, clearly.
Absolutely. He's got this is actually quite a good physical practice for any outside player. The body movements he's having to do, but it's been combined with handling the ball as well. Here he's playing the ball with his foot, and then he'll be asked to make a save and another reflex save. But a lot of physical work in this one as well, and then he adds technique into it.
Is it important, Morris, as a coach, to put that technique under pressure when players get tired?
Well, that's one way that you can improve by what you might say overloading. if you put under a lot of pressure and you can still bring off the techniques, yes, that's what you start to measure your improvement then. You have to be careful that you don't get too tired, otherwise the technique can suffer. So you have to just be aware that if the players if you get them too tired, that they're not that the technique doesn't go all together. So you hit a fine balance.
Now, Morris, when we talk fast feet, we're not talking about speed over a distance, are we?
No, not necessarily. I think that a lot of emphasis nowadays on players is moving their feet very quickly. We've seen in a lot of the drills, a lot of the feints over the ball, but to be able to do that effectively, your feet have to move quickly. And these are some specially designed practices that help in that.
Now again, might some of these exercises be used in a warm-up situation?
Well, I wouldn't say they could be, but I would tend to put them in among physical practice, particularly as you see for sharpening up and quick sprints, quick movements of the feet. And these can be brought into to the physical training part. Not much of this is done with a ball.
And we'll see through this section that a lot of the movement is exaggerated. Is that specifically what the coach is after?
Yes, I think the coaches, often specialised coaches that do this sort of work, and they try to make the footwork specific to football. In my opinion, these sort of practices can be used in many sports, such as tennis, rugby, hockey. So it's, although the coaches make them specific for football, I think other sports would also use quite a lot of these.
Now, coaches, Morris, that are looking after these fast feet sessions, are they necessarily football coaches, or are, as you say, sometimes specialist coaches brought into the club?
Yes, I think they don't have to be, and I don't think they are necessarily football coaches. They're often physical educators, and they'll design the exercises specific to any particular sport. But yeah, they obviously know more about this sort of thing than our average coaches do, our average football coaches do. So clubs have obviously realised that this is a very important part of training footballers, and so they've gone outside of the normal football coach and brought in specialist people.
During your visit to Europe, how often were these sessions conducted?
Well, I saw them once in a week when I was there, and also at Leeds United it was the same. So I think what they do is combine it also with power training, with weight training, and they'll have probably just one session a week on this, which goes for anything up to half an hour. But it's also combined, as I say, with other sessions as well. I think it's something that in New Zealand that we can also copy as coaches. We can take benefit from what we see and look to put on quite a few of these exercises, and particularly with younger players even than these. You know that if you can start them off moving their feet very quickly, it stands them in good stead in the future.
Concentration element brought in here, the children are having to listen to the instruction?
Very much so, yes. They really have to concentrate, listen to what's being said, and look to get their technique right. As you can see, there's quite a lot of difference sometimes in the different techniques of running with our players. So obviously these exercises bring it out, and often the coach can correct that. So you're right that the players have to really concentrate, they have to really listen to what's been said by the coach and try to get it to happen.
The kids do their own warm-up. They know what the routine is again, even these lads. These are under 12s. And somebody's been designated to take them through it.
Again, just variation, Morris, on the exercises with the footwork, and this more in a squad situation.
Yes, I think I said to you earlier on that we could be starting this at a younger age, and this is exactly what's happening here. That these very young players, they're also using these fast foot movements. A lot of dancing, using on their toes. This time the coach has brought in a variation. He knocks a football into them and they play the ball off. But once again, those skipping movements, working off the toes, moving their feet very quickly. Now he's brought in another variation where he throws the ball in for a head.
And again, very exaggerated. It's not the speed across the ground, it's the speed of the foot movement.
Yes, that's true. And once again, many variations of this. Many variations, lots of different foot movements. Here he's going with the knees high, as you say, exaggerating the movement. But look how near together, close together the feet are, how quickly they're moving. And these are a lot of the movements, particularly in and out of the little markers, a lot of the movements to just quicken up the feet when you're in possession of the ball. You might have to be moving off one way or the other. So these exercises specifically designed to improve that, to get the feet moving really quickly.
Holland have got great facilities there.
Step back, balance, forward. 2 more runs and we'll change over. Nice and sharp. Well, boy. 2 more runs and stretch. Back step, diag, nice and sharp. Come on. Back step. Back, forward. More nice and sharp.
This is very useful, particularly for big players as well, for tall players who often you think they've got lazy feet, and this is one way of speeding it up. And particularly if you can get them at a young age, doing a lot of these practices, it certainly helps them later on in their careers.
And for younger players, perhaps also, Morris, an opportunity for the players to practice this themselves at home once they've got a couple of the patterns worked out.
Well, that's a really good idea, because yes, you don't need other people. All you need is a few markers, and you can look at the film, see what these boys are doing, and go and work on it on your own. And that's the way that you do get improvement, by working a lot in situations, seeing practices, adapting them so that you can work on your own with them.
Finish high, get those knees up. And we're going to start to the red disc. Coming up and stay there. So, now we go as fast as you can, side step, down flat. When you get to this one, I want you to do two, and I want you to go into double high knees. So you're going to go down the line, over, back, high knees. Over, back. diag, lean your body, change your body weight, back, diag.
As you've seen previously, Andrew, we've seen these same boys doing a lot of work with on tactical, technical stuff with a ball, and now we see them without a ball and just doing. And this is another aspect of their training.
2 steps there, Dave, that's all. Get your balance. It's all about balance. Leaning your body weight, right and then left, and then stepping back and forward again. Right, left, pick up. He's down, back, lean forward, diag. Good. Pick it up, pick it up. Give yourself a gap. Left, balance, back, lean forward, diagonals.
Once again, concentration becomes important as tired legs start to settle in.
Yes, and then again, a lot depends on the coach. The coach has got to keep motivating these boys, keep them going, and as you say, they've got to be concentrating on what they do. A lot of concentration in a little exercise like these.
Have a stretch off and stay here when you've done. Balance, right, left, double, 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 back, lean your body weight, diag, rest, have a stretch. Right the ball, knees bent. Right, forward, jog, back jog to the orange, to your left, turn, outside, turn, left down, yes, left foot, right foot, forward, back jog, forward, left back, turn, outside, when you get to the last pole, then spin. Left foot, right foot, forward to jog, back jog, side, back, forward side, back, spin. Left foot, no, stop, right, spin to the yellow, back at the edge. Red, right foot, towards stop, back jog, your left. Till he gets to the orange pole. Wait till he gets to the orange. Go. Next man. Wait till he gets to the orange. Wait till he's got there and gone past it. Yes, 3 runs. Let's go. Forward. Back jog. Wait till he gets past the orange. Go. Let's go. Keep it going. Back jog. Ready and go. Keep it going for 3 runs. Come on.
Simulating game situations again, Morris, with the tight work in a tight situation.
Well, it looks that way to me. As I say, these are specialist people that come in and do it. And these are, look at the movements he's making now, which are all movements that you make in a game. And as you say, in tight situations. But look at the speed, the way that their feet are moving. Is it getting round the cones, avoiding a player in a game, taking the ball past someone?
And again, keep it going. 2 more runs. As soon as he's gone beyond the orange, let's go. Left foot, right foot, forward.
Many changes of direction.
Back jog. The gap. Wait till he's got to the orange. Yes. Left foot, right foot, forward. Back jog. To your left. Next man, let's go. No. Nice and sharp. Keep your feet close.
I would also add that probably very good for building up the muscles, the calf muscles, the thigh muscles, as well as giving a lot of agility.
Turn. Back jog. Right. Until he gets there, Dave. Left foot lead. Left foot lead. Forward. Back. To your left, Dave. Turn. Turn. Yes. Keep it going. Come on. Turn. And again. Turn. Stretch when you can. Yes. Keep it going. Turn. Have a stretch. Turn. Turn. Stretch off. Have a stretch and change over. Keep it going. Well done. Have a stretch or a drink when you've done your runs. Keep yourself short and sharp. Come on. Keep working. Give yourself. Turn. Go. Yes. Left foot. Right foot. Forward. Back jog. Knees bent all the time with the body forward. Turn again on the outside of the orange. Nice and tight around the slope. Don't let it touch the ball. Forward receiving. Yeah. Okay. Man left, right.
A different type of fast feet. Are we back in Brazil, Morris?
Yes, I don't think it'd be right to finish this little episode without showing the famous Brazilian dancing routines. And here we've got some on show here. Usually work to a clap and a beat.
Who's in room 20? There's a fax for you. Mario will give it to you in the car.
It almost says something about their football, doesn't it, with the timing and the teamwork?
Well, I think so, yes, yes. And some of these very big boys, very big boys.
On to then perhaps the most important aspect of the video, the coaching side of things. What are we looking to pick up here from the pictures we're about to see?
Yes, well, I think the main thing as far as I'm concerned, and I teach a lot of coaches, and I say you must get involved. You don't just stand on the sideline with your hands in your pockets. And look at this guy here. He holds the highest qualification in Holland, and he's getting in and talking to his players. And here we've got a player who plays in the first team at this club, but he started his coaching career. He's working with young players after he's finished his training. And I found as a player myself that it's a good time to get in and start your coaching career while you're still playing, because you can demonstrate to the players, and also I think that it helps your own game. You start to think about your own game, and to me a lot of our players should be coaching much earlier than they currently do. Here's the coach again. He's got to have rapport with his players. They're listening to what he says. They respect what he says, and he's making his points. He's not just stood watching. He's seen something go wrong. He gets in there and he starts to demonstrate and to talk to the players, let them know what he wants.
Looking on the phase play, he's looking at his back players and coaching them.
And again, we're seeing that it is very demonstrative, very much the communication with the arms, the legs, the entire body, not just the voice.
Yes, your body language is important. And here we've got a coach in Italy. He's going through a phase of play, working on some area of the game. It doesn't really matter to us what that is. The important thing is that he's well organised. Even before the session started, he's written down, these are various moves that he's working on. He's got his bit of paper. He's not wasting anybody's time. He's obviously thought through. Look, he's dropped his paper, but he has it there with all the different moves that he's looking for. And this is coaching. You've got to be organised so that when you get there, you know what you're going to be working on and you get the players going. There's nothing worse than the coach turning up to the practice and not knowing what he's going to be working on. And all these coaches that I observed in Europe, they were well organised coaches. They knew what they wanted out of the session. They set their goals and they went on and worked on it. Even when things went wrong, they changed things over.
Showing them.
Look how enthusiastically this coach is working with his players. This is a German youth coach. And now he demonstrates what he wants. He's showing them what he wants. And talking to his players. We're all different personalities as coaches, of course, but I think that you can't be passive, you've got to be active, you've got to get in there and communicate and pass on information, particularly when you're working with young players. Now he's seen a lapse in concentration, so he's getting on there and telling the players about it. And there is objective, looking to keep that width and looking to get into the byline.
Back at Leeds again, and once again we're seeing a coach prepared to demonstrate exactly what he's after from his players.
Yes, I think a picture tells 1,000 words, doesn't it? And just looking and seeing what the coach wants, and then the players can copy it. And this coach here is showing his players how to open out, let the ball run, open out your body and play off in another direction.
Professionals there, they're doing their own warm-ups.
Now this is a little different, Morris. The coach is not being demonstrative here. The players are sat down quietly. What's happening here?
Yes, well, these are the young professionals at Leeds United, and they, as I said before, they train twice a day, so they've got their own routines. One player will be given the job of doing the warm-up and the stretches, and look what's happening with the coach. The coach is setting out his practice, so he's well organised. As soon as the players have finished their warm-up routines, which they know what to do, then he's ready to go straight into a practice with them. So once again, it's organisation. He's got the two goalkeepers warming each other up. He knows what he's going to practice. It's obviously using goalkeepers and using the goals. So he's got the goalkeepers warming up, the players warming up, and here's the other coach. His players are also doing their own warm-up, and he's setting up his practice so that as soon as they start, they're straight into it, and he can get his objectives. Here you see, this coach, he's got a piece of paper, he knows what he's going to be working on, he's got every player's name on, so it's organisation. It's not enough just to come to your training session and think things will happen. These coaches are all well prepared before they arrive.
A slightly different situation, again working with younger players again?
Yes, and just in that case working individually, just showing what he wants and telling that he wants quality. And here's the same coach again, now working in a functional practice. He's working on his back four players. So even at this age, you know, that he's putting in tactics, he's putting in information to them. It's not just technical practices.
And we've spoken about it already, the specialist coaching, and in this case the goalkeeping.
Exactly. This is a specialist goalkeeping coach, and once again, with top-class goalkeepers like this, maybe he doesn't need to work too much on their technique because their technique is very, very good anyway. But what he does do is set up practices so that he can extend these goalkeepers, and he encourages them. Yeah, and once again here we've got a top-class coach, and he's working individually with his players. He's showing the body positions to take up, and he's communicating what he wants. And even at top level, we still have the players working on basic things like that.
So there you have it, a couple of hours of how the top professionals in Europe train and play the game. And Morris, again, the advice for parents or teachers as to how to get something out of this tape is to go back and take it in sections.
Yes, I think so. I think that when you're making a session, just to go through the tape, look at the parts that have interested you for warm-ups and for the main part of the session and for the physical part. And it's all there. It's all there.
So enjoy. Hope you've had a great time watching the tape.